Welcome back, everyone. Great news. I think the last video you saw, the stone was done, but they hadn't finished the rest of the building. Well, the maple farm is 100% complete on the outside, the shell, however you want to call it. I will show you what it looks like. So last video you saw, none of this was done up here behind me. So windows are in and it's finished here, all above the stone that I put in. Comes down around the doors, all the way down to the other side. I think it looks awesome. They actually put our overhead door in 3 days ago. I'll take you down here and show you this carriage style door that I picked out. Looks sweet. And there's that. This is my main door for getting syrup barrels in and out. I will have a forklift at some point. I wanted a big enough door so I could get in and out, but that thing is sweet. I got the windows to the top so nobody can look in. I got to put a little hardware on it. They didn't put the hardware on. I got to put the handles right here. And they got these nice decorative hinges that go bottom and top, full size. So yeah, this place is sweet. I love it. And I actually could move out here and live in here. But today's video, we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna do a Q&A with you guys. I get tons of messages. I have a Facebook page as well, Crestview Maple Farm. I get a lot of messages in there, but a lot of subscribers will reach out and comment on a bunch of different things on my videos. So today we're going to sit down and I'm going to go over a bunch of things, a lot of the questions I received, and I'm going to do a Q&A with you guys. I'm going to show you some techniques, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, so you subscribers to my channel, when you click on my channel on YouTube, if you look at the description of my channel, I had to fill that out when I started the channel, but it tells you my name, where I'm from, kind of where we're going with the maple business. So for most of you people that do know me that are subscribed, but my name is Dan Bolton. I live here in central New York, a small town called Burlington, New York. Population probably 100. All we have is a blinking light up in town. 49 years old. I work road construction for my full-time job, and then I do the maple on the side when I get laid off in winters, which the maple is actually becoming almost full-time. So with that being said, I'm going to get into some of these questions that I get on my channel, a lot of times under my videos. Just so you all know, I do read every single question that I get, and I appreciate the feedback. And if there's something you guys want to see, if there's some other videos that you want to see once season gets here, let me know. I'd be glad to make a video, you know, whatever you're looking, you know, whatever interests you. So we'll start off with questions, and the first one I got here, I didn't write down the subscribers' names, but this first question is, are you planning to boil this coming maple season? No, we are not. Plan is not this coming season, but the following season. The plan is to start making syrup in 2027. We still have a section of woods I got to get built. I was supposed to do that this year, but with this going up, I just didn't have enough time, and that section of woods is pretty massive. I think there's probably 2,000 to 3,000 taps in there, and I got to run electric up there. I got to build a pump house. You guys see in the videos, I built roads for that, and I got a ton of work to do there, but I've got to get that done next summer. Question number 2, how do you anchor the ends of your main lines? So I often get this question when they see my tubing videos. How do you anchor the end of your main line? Now, whether that's the wire or the pipe, I will show you how I do that. So basically, there's 2 different methods of anchoring your main line at the end tree. So I just seen a question on the maple page the other day on Facebook. Guy was asking what a J hook is. Well, this is a J hook right here. And what you do with this, you drill a hole in the tree with a small drill bit. This is how I do it. And then you tap this in with a hammer, and then you screw this into the tree. So basically, you know, you screw it into the tree till you're somewhere like right about there. Then this hook is sticking out. So then you take your mainline wire and you wrap it around this guy right here, and you bring it back. And what I like to do is use these wire sets right here. This will join your wire together after you wrap it around this. After you go around this, you put half this wire on the wire and the other half on the other. So that's one method. And then the other method is just wrapping the wire around a tree and putting a backing on it like this. I don't use this. This is lateral line. I use like the heavy pipe, the main line pipe. But basically, you would bring your wire down. Say this is your tree right here. You'd wrap your wire right around the tree like this, back to itself, and you can use those wire sets again. There's a lot of talk in the maple industry. I see it all the time. Which way's better? Like they say, wrapping the wire around a tree can girdle it over time, which I can see that. You know, the stuff's really tight and it's cutting into the tree, and if you don't adjust it every year. And but I've done either way. I've put these hooks in. These are kind of nice because the tree can still grow, but at some point your tree's going to grow out and it's going to cover this up. So, you know, I don't know what way's the best way. I've done them both ways. So I kind of like this method just because it's quick, but either way, I don't think it's the wrong way. Either way will get the job done for you. So that's how you anchor a wire. You're anchoring your wire at the end of your main line. How you would anchor your pipe is I use these right here. These are called tension grips. And basically, pull this back, and this will slide over your pipe. Get that nice and snug. And what I like to do is put a couple clamps around this too, because I have seen these pull off the pipe. And then what I like to do is I use a ratchet for a high tensile, and then I'll put a short piece of wire between that and the ratchet with some gripples, and then I'll pull that pipe tight so you don't get this waviness going on. So that's how you tighten. That's how you tighten the pipe up at the end of your main line. That's how you tighten the pipe, and that's how you attach your wire at the end tree. That's a great question. If you watch my videos, you'll see how I do a lot of that. Question number 3: is or will maple become your full-time job? Are you an excavator operator by trade? I've been on the road. I am an excavator operator. I work for a bridge construction company. I've been doing heavy equipment operation for 25 plus years. I'm on the road. This is the whole plan with the maple. I wanted to get this maple business going so I could be home, be with my wife, be with my daughter. And I am a heavy equipment operator full-time. That's what I do. I love doing it. It's taught me a lot. You know, I see a lot of the states, and I've been able to do all this work myself. So I am a full-time excavator operator for a bridge construction company. But the goal with the maple is to do it full-time, where I can do maple full-time. And if I have to pick up like a part-time job in the summer, I will. How big is the building? Post and beam, steel or stick built? So that question's about the maple farm here. So the maple farm is 60 foot long by 40 foot wide. It's post and beam out front here. This section that I'm sitting in is actually, from the doors out is 12, and the rest is 8 where the jog goes back. Yeah, it's post and beam. I love it. My wife and I found a set of plans on the internet. We found this set of drawings and we loved it and presented it to our builder. He had never built one like this. He said he thought he could do it, racked his brain around it, and here you have it. Turned out beautiful. We love it. Number 5, how do you go about leasing land? That's a great question. So my woods are both leased. I don't own any land. As you all know, it takes a lot of money to buy land, and I don't have that kind of money. So I lease a piece of land off my cousin, and I lease another piece off a gentleman up the road here. How you go about doing that is I basically approached them both, and I said, hey, you ever thought about letting somebody tap your maple trees? And they're like, huh, never thought about it. And I was like, well, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And I said, I'll give you X amount of dollars per tap. So that's how you go about leasing a piece of land. It works great for both parties involved. Both parties make money. It's even better for the landowner, in my opinion, because he can go tax exempt. He can claim it under agricultural and save himself a lot of money on taxes. I have a pretty sweet deal with my leases. They're both great people, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So leasing land is, just make sure that you get yourself a long lease, like 10 plus years or better. Signed Cornell Cooperative, I think it is, or Cornell, they have a lease agreement. You can find them online. They work awesome. You get both parties to sign it, get it notarized, and you're good to go. Number 6, what do you expect to gain for taps? So right now I currently have 6,600 taps. I have 2,000 taps up in my cousin's woods that I lease, and then I have another 4,400 over in this other lease. But that lease is big. That's almost 100 acres. So that's the extension that I got to do next year. So my end goal is 10 to 12,000 taps. I can make a living on 10,000. 12 would be nice. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick up another woods. There's a couple other woods around here that I've been kind of working on. So 20,000 would be nice, wouldn't it? How long have you been doing maple? Oh, that's a great question. So I'm 49 years old. I've been doing maple since I was probably about 19 years old. My uncle started. He always had a maple operation. My great-grandfather did, but he had passed by the time I got old enough to do anything. So my uncle, I helped him. And then, I don't know, I was probably right around when I was 33 or 34 years old, 35. maybe 36. My cousin and I got into it, and we had a nice operation. We had 800 taps. We made maple syrup. We did that for about 3 years, I think. But I wanted to get big, and my cousin didn't, so we ended up parting ways. Not a big deal. It was actually good, just because, you know, I wanted to get big and he didn't. So I've actually made maple syrup. I made maple syrup for 3 years, but now I've been selling sap, you know, to my buddy Jason, and, you know, hopes to get this, you know, going on my own. I started selling sap in 2020, but I actually started 2017 putting mainline up. So it took me 3 years to get that woods ready by myself, and now that woods is complete, and now we're working on this woods up here. So yeah, I've been doing maple for quite a long time. Number 8, that's a good question. What are you using for cameras to monitor sap flow? So everybody in the maple business knows this. There's monitoring systems out there. They all have them. You can buy them. CDL, D&G's got a new one out now. I checked it out at Open House up there. That's a pretty sweet one. You can actually monitor every single tree on your lateral lines. That's insane. But I don't have any of that fancy stuff because, number one, it's expensive, and number two, I'm trying to get this thing going. You know, there's limited funds on certain things I want to spend my money on and certain things I don't. Right now, I don't need them. I got valves. That's how I check for my leaks, and my vacuum gauge, my VFD drive. When that thing's not sitting on 0, I know I got a leak, and that's, you know, I go to the woods and I find it. The cameras that I'm using is, I just bought a 5-block off Amazon. They're a blink camera. So basically, I got them up there. I got one on my releaser, one on the vacuum pump gauge, a bunch on the tanks, and runs off Wi-Fi. Works sweet, comes right to my phone. You download the app. So that's how I keep track of things on my cameras. Question number 9, what do you consider a full crop where you live? So a full crop to me is half gallon per tap. It's pretty simple to figure that out. You know, if you got 4,000 taps, 2,000 gallons of syrup. You got 6,000 taps, 3,000 gallons of syrup. But that varies, you know, from place to place. What I really look at is how many gallons of sap per tap that you do, because where we live, we get tons of sap, but our sugar content, the highest I got last year was 1.7%. On average, I probably averaged around 1.3 if I had to guess. It's hard to compete with a guy that's getting 1.8, 1.9 on average, or 2%, you know? So, you know, that's not really comparing apples to apples. What you want to do is take what you're getting, how much sap you're getting per tap. And I did really good last year. I got 41 gallons per tap of sap up on my new woods up there, and I got 30 gallons per tap on the other woods. So I got an astronomical amount of sap. I think it was like 278,000 gallons or somewhere along those lines. Don't quote me on that. I got to look at my paperwork, but I got a ton of sap. So that's how I do it. I go off how much sap I get per tap, and a full crop to me, a half gallon per tap. There's no sense in even doing this if you can't get a half gallon per tap. What are your plans in the next 2 years? Well, I kind of answered a lot of that in the previous questions, but yeah, so the plan is, right now the exterior is complete on the maple farm. So I've got lumber ordered to finish the inside. Not all of it, just to start studding walls. I got to do the electric. I got to get the insulation there. I'm going with spray foam. I decided to go that route. Got to get everything wired in here. I'm going to run the electric myself. I got to come off the pole over there. Water and electric in here. Hot water heater. There's a ton of stuff that has to get done in here. In between that, I'm going to pour a slab out back here for the sap silo, and I got to finish that woods up there. I got to get all this done in the next 2 years, a year and a half. So yeah, the plan, get this thing done and make syrup in 2027. That's the goal. It's in the blood, man. I love doing this. You know, this is why I started the YouTube channel. I wanted to show people, you know, how much work is involved in running a maple farm. And I'm busy right now, but once I get making it, man, I'm going to be swamped. I'm a one-man operation. As you see in the videos, my dad helps out from time to time when I need him. My wife will help out. She's so awesome. She's the driving force. Our daughter, she's not so much into it. You know, she's into her sports. She's a junior in high school. So, but yeah, the plan is, you know, make syrup. That's the end goal. And it's kind of my retirement. What do you use for spouts? Do you use a check valve or do you use a regular spout? So that's a good question. So I'm going to show you what a check valve spout is and what a regular spout is, in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know, like, who's watching my channel, if it's mainly, you know, people that make maple syrup, if it's other people, but I'm going to show you what these two are and what the differences are and why you would use them and why you wouldn't. Okay, so right here is a check valve spout. I don't know if you can see that little black ball inside that. You see how it moves back and forth? That's a check valve spout. And this is a regular spout. clear spout. This is a thin wall. It's a little bit bigger opening so the sap flow maybe flows out of it a little bit better. I don't know. The main difference between these two, so how this one works is that when sap's running, that ball sits there and the sap pulls out past the ball. So sap's flowing, but say something happens in your woods and you lose vacuum, and say the sap starts to fill up your drop line, which your drop line comes in from the bottom. Sap will push back up into this. It will fill into this and it'll push that ball back in that socket and lock it so no sap can get back in your tap hole. That keeps your tap hole free of bacteria and that keeps your tap hole running longer. Everyone knows if you get bacteria in the tap hole, it's going to want to shut down, dry up faster. That's the advantages of running a check valve over the thin wall spout. And the thin wall spout's good. I use the thin wall spout in the new woods, but I use this in my older woods because I have a pitch issue. I know a lot of guys just strictly use these. The only thing with these I will say is when you drill your hole, you got to be perfect, dude. You cannot have any sawdust or bark shavings or chips inside the hole because that little black ball, if a piece of bark gets in there, that'll hang that thing up, and you won't get the production out of that, out of that tap hole because of that. This one here is a little bit bigger, so some bark will pull right down through that. I don't know which way is best. You talk to tons of people and they'll say, well, they all have their own beliefs. I look at it like this. It's just simple. 0 leaks in your woods and you will get sap. You will get so much sap you won't know what to do with it. 0 leaks. 0 leaks all the time. For us smaller producers, that's key. The big producers, they probably, I don't know, but they probably just add more taps. Yeah, no big deal if we get half a gallon per tap. But for us down here, a 10,000 tap guy, you're looking for half gallon per tap, so it's important. I like to check valves for my one woods that's flat because a lot of times I have sap backing up. Now up here on the other hill where I got serious pitch, I use these guys. And these are expensive too. I don't know, last time I think I checked, they're 45 cents a piece, so you do the math. 45 cents times 6,600. That's a lot of coin. These are a lot cheaper. I don't know what these are. These are 20 cents maybe. Don't quote me on that. But so yeah, that's the difference between a check valve and a regular spout. I get that question quite often. Next question. What hobbies do you have other than maple? Well, that's a good question too because I really don't have a lot of hobbies. I do like to do some archery hunting. Go to Ohio every year, hunt with some of my family members. That's a good time. I enjoy going and watching my daughter play sports. She's a really good basketball player. Spending time with my wife. Live a pretty simple life. I'm on the road all week for work. A lot of times I'm out of town, so when I'm home on the weekends, I just like to be home. I was big into demolition derby for a long time. I had a YouTube channel for that, Extreme Shop Hogs. The derbying was fun. I met a guy out west, Paul Cox. He's got a huge YouTube channel. Check him out. It's Fab Rats, and we're actually going out to see them this spring, so that's going to be a good time. I haven't seen them in about 5-6 years. But yeah, demolition derby was big. I did that for years at the local fairs. I actually ran in Utah. I went to Utah, ran a derby with Paul, Virginia, Ohio, PA, New York, all over the state of New York. I did that for 25 years. And then I was right on the cusp of getting into the maple. And that's when I should have got into the maple. I should have gave this up 20 years ago. I'd be sitting pretty right now, but what do you do, At the time, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I was kind of a motorhead. I like old Mopars. I'm an old car kind of guy. You can see the Camry I drive in a lot of the videos. It's a 1999. Pretty simple. I grew up on 2 family dairy farms here, and this country living is where it's at. I love it out here. It's peaceful. And but yeah, that's a couple of the hobbies. I think I covered everything in that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. I think I probably should sit down and do this from time to time. Be a little more personable with my subscribers. But another thing too, hit that subscribe button, please. It's I've had the YouTube channel going for over a year now, and we're just at 606 subscribers. I was hoping to get to 1,000 in a year. It didn't happen. But it's a lot of time for me to make these videos. I'm out in the woods, I'm doing the work, and I gotta stop what I'm doing, video it, discuss it, explain it, come home, edit it. It's a lot to editing. People think you just make a video in 5 minutes. No, it's probably a good hour and a half to make a video, depending on how long it is. But I enjoy doing it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. but we really need to hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Once I get to 1,000 subs, I can start showing some advertisement on my channel and I can actually make some money. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. So there you have it. That's some Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. And as I always say, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.